I am so excited today to be speaking to Sahad Guled, who was a brave and fearless participant in the first cohort of your best-selling book, which ran in fall of 2023. And he was an absolute delight to have in the course. He is the most beautiful human being. I feel so grateful to have met you through the course. So let me tell you a little bit about Saad, but I'm going to let him tell most of it in his own words. Just so you know, this guy like arrived in America as an immigrant with no ability to even speak English, not a lot of, opportunities in front of him. And he just created his own life. He is a true living example of the American dream, where he has become an entrepreneur. He has several successful businesses. He's also a husband and a father, and very committed to his family, and a wonderful, beautiful person. So welcome, Saad.
Wow. I don't even know what to say after that intro because that was very overwhelming. That's very, very beautiful of you to think of me in such way. But yes, you said it the most, I want to be a living proof and a great example of anybody that's out there that want to create a life story for themselves. So when I came here in the United States, as you know, yeah, part of the struggle and the growing up was not able to speak English, but challenge only makes us stronger. So for me, learning the language, going to school, trying to do something good for myself has really been my motto all of my life. And what made me to decide, to write a book. I want to spread that word. I want to tell the thousands of people that are out there who are feeling down. Hey, because I'm a firm believer. When we are at a certain stage in life, I feel like it's obligation of ours to not keep, anything from people. We have to share. We have to spread positivity and anything that can improve somebody's life. So I feel like with this book, not only it's part of my storytelling process, but I do want to, touch people's lives and tell them, hey, you can do it, man. It's very possible.
Yeah. And so that is part of the intro that I didn't even give, is that as a result of the course, and Saad came in as one of those people who was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get it done. I will have a book, and has a book coming out. And can you just tell us what the title of the book is and when it's going to be released?
Yes, building dreams. It's gonna come in November. We are shooting for release dates in November. We're not really sure yet, um, but we will be able to know that probably close to October. But we're looking at a November release date. And I'm working with the people that you connected me with. Thank you for your valuable connections, because what do they say? Your network is your net worth. So Megan and her team has been thumbs up. Thank you so much. It's been great.
Okay, so that I just wanted to say, so building dreams, and we probably will release this then closer to October, November, because that'll be in time with the book. So we will get that timing. Um, so also, Saad is a motivational speaker, so he also speaks on this topic. And I know part of your desire to write a book stemmed from the fact that you are already motivationally speaking. And so having a book helps you get better, bigger speaking engagements. And also, when you speak, you can sell your book. And then that gives people who come to hear you speak an opportunity to really dive in and get to know more of who you are and your story.
Absolutely. The title of the book, sorry, I missed what. The title of the book is Breaking Barriers and Building Dreams. So that's what it is. But you are right. Part of what I do, I love speaking. I love talking because I'm an individual who really do great job by listening to people. I mean, I can read a book. I love reading, but usually when you're talking to me face to face, it hits different. So for me, it's all about how you convey the message, right? So for me, I'm like, okay, some people get motivated through reading social media posts, some people books, some people go to conferences. So for me, you follow me on Instagram, you've seen my posts and you know what I post and I try to be motivational, stuff like that. But the speaking engagements is where I'm really, really looking forward to. Not only do I want to motivate people, but also want to make connections with other people. So that's one of the
Exactly. So you are perfect for this Story Cure podcast because there are two elements, as I see it, to sharing your story or even writing it, speaking it, whatever mode you choose. And we're talking now in the Story Cure about also some people want to write nonfiction books like you or memoirs. Some people want to write business books. Others, they may just desire to write essays and blog, and other people may even go more in the fiction direction in terms of their storytelling with creating like a documentary film or a short film or something like that. So, any type of sharing your story. And the two aspects are one is the inward journey, right? Like, so I'd love to speak to you a little bit about that first. And then the other is the outward journey, which is the way that it connects you to people. So, can you tell us a little bit about your experience of doing the Your Best Selling Book course and writing your book? Was there a way in which it helped you heal a wound or find a new direction or transform yourself or reframe your narrative in life? Something about the inner journey that touched you?
Yes, definitely, without a doubt. And I've said this in class. I've said this when me and you spoke privately. I was never a confident person when it came down to writing or or even speaking in front of people. And your best-selling book, I mean, and I'm not just saying this because I want to promote you. I'm not doing that. I'm speaking from the bottom of my heart, meaning that I wasn't even really sure if I wanted to, write a book. I wasn't brave
Mm.
enough. I never thought about it. I mean, I thought about sharing my story, but from the day that I met you, before I even enrolled class, the confidence that you instilled in me, the confidence that you really gave me. And we even talked about um, the fact that I don't even write. How should I write this book? And the tips that you gave me, the application, the apps that you told me to download from the app store, I'm talking to it, and instead of writing, talk to that app. I can't remember the name of the app. I keep receipts. I have all of those receipts. Okay. So for me, when you give somebody that confidence and you believe in them and you go back home and you say, you know what? She's New York's bestseller 2 times for a reason. Maybe listen to her. It's a reason. So I listen to your advice. I listen to your coaching. I listen to your mentorship. So that's how that class helped me. It helped me overcome my, inability to believe in myself on how to, tell my story in a pen and a paper format. So that is the biggest takeaway I can take from that class. And the many great people that I met there, like some of the people that I like Tuan, very cool, that I keep up with Tuan and on Instagram, I feel like it's a great relationship, so many other future authors, you. So I took a lot of positive things from that class, but the most important thing right now, without me sounding arrogant, I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about writing my second book, so it helped me, yeah, it helped me heal that, low confidence or to share my book, to share my story on a paper, on a pen and a paper format. That's what I took away from it.
That is amazing. That is so cool. I love that. I don't, you know what? I don't even have that in my list of things. And I think that is fantastic that your message is that working on your book helped you build confidence in yourself. And I love that you say that because one of the first things we address is imposter syndrome. And the amazing, astounding thing to me is here I am sitting in that course with incredible, incredible humans who have accomplished amazing things in their life. And every single one of us has some imposter syndrome. Every one of us has those moments where we think like, who am I to write a book? Who's going to care? Who's going to listen? I haven't done enough. I'm not good enough. And I think such a powerful message that you just delivered is like, even just diving into that and doing it you can build the confidence in the process of doing it. So I really love that message. Thank you.
No, for sure, because the more you practice, um, the the better you perform on center stage. So when you get to center stage and you try to talk to in front of people, right? There's no reason for you to be nervous because you've practiced everything that you want to tell people already behind closed doors. You know, all of your struggles come from behind doors. Behind closed doors is where all of your struggles come from. So if you excel that and you keep practicing, 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 then later you'll be able to get better at what you're trying to accomplish. So for me, from that day that you told me, Saad, you can do it. Nobody was born being an author. Everybody, everybody learned. Everybody developed new skill. You know, so for me, and I'm a firm believer of self-taught. You know, so for sure, thank you so much. And I say that to your emails. I say that to our
I know
text. You know, I tell you, you know, it's
you
anybody,
do.
yeah, anybody that improves your lifestyle and give you a good confidence on how to succeed in life. It's a life, you know, long friendship and a relationship. You know, so I appreciate you so much.
Of course. Well, and you've already had so much success on the local level in Minnesota in terms of even being recognized as a leader and doing entrepreneurial adventures, plus your motivational speaking. And I just really have immense faith in you and confidence that you can take this to the national level as you continue to work on this. And I think it's, it's just so important. It's so, so important to give other people that kind of hope. I would just want, before we move on to the impact on others, which I definitely want to address, um, has it ever been difficult for you to be vulnerable or, share some part of your story that maybe is authentic but feels scary to share?
Oh, for me, really, not really, because I'm a guy that usually, I'm very direct, you know, very direct to people. There are situations where I was very uncomfortable in terms of how people approached me, how people really don't think you could get the same chance as them, or stuff like that. But not really, because we're living in a crazy world nowadays, right? Where people will just either assume things, or or try to put you down in any way that they can. But I'm a very strong individual. I have a thick skin, and there are situations where people try to make you very uncomfortable in terms of look, what do you practice, what do you stand for, stuff like that. But I always speak up. I always speak up. So for me, I don't think I have one specific thing that made me vulnerable, or something that really made me kind of what you asked, but a couple of things here and there.
Well, good for you. I think that is a valuable lesson as well. You've got to have a thick skin if you're going to put yourself out there. There's always going to be some trolls and some haters, and you need to be prepared for that too, right? And just
Absolutely.
let it
Absolutely.
go.
Absolutely. Seriously, it's May,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
crazy, even, I have a good amount of followers on Instagram, and you see the, nosy comments, like one of my newest ventures is opening a coffee shop, which you know about it. And yeah, and then someone came up to me, why do you need to open a coffee shop? You're doing great in life. You own a bus company. That's so negative. It's not about money. Maybe if you see the video that I posted on my Instagram today, um, it's not about making money. Coffee shop is about building a community, building, positive neighborhood where people gather, gather and share stories. People from so many different backgrounds, different countries, different cultures, different religions, different beliefs, right? And it has no restrictions. Anybody that want to buy something you're more than welcome, and get to know people. So for me, I have a heart full of love. All right, especially for people, and people that want to do something great for other people. So, you know, but you're right, a lot of trolls and haters, but who got time?
Well, you know what? Heart full of love is the way to go, in my opinion. You just said it right there. Like, yeah, I'm just going to keep coming at you with love and love and understanding.
you
That's what
know?
I'm going to do. That's it.
100%.
So let's talk about that aspect of it. I mean, I know this is so important to everything you do because we've spoken about it from your motivational speaking to even your company, your bus company, and your coffee shop. Your underlying fundamental motivation, in my view, is really bringing community together. And so, how has sharing your story helped you build community and connect?
Can you say that again? You kind of, that question.
Okay. Oh, sorry. How has sharing your story helped you to build community or connect with other people?
Yes, absolutely. So, you know, there are a lot of great people out there, like I said, that they want to do great things, but they want to connect with people like us, who have been there, who are motivated, and I'm not saying that I'm motivated. I'm a motivated individual every single day. There are days that, um, that I'm not really super motivated, but at the end of the day, I have a message to myself that I have to roll up my sleeves and go to work and get the job done, right? So for me, connecting with the community, connecting with the, small business owners like me, some friends, really helped me, grow personally. And then at the same time, because it's all about when you motivate people, when people see that you're doing great things, it's a domino effect. Next thing you know, somebody will come to you, hey, Saad, man, I see that you're doing this. I've been thinking about something similar. Could I sit down with you for 15 minutes? And before you know, you help somebody launch a business. So it's all about, getting the word out there on your socials and then going to these conferences and stuff like that for sure.
It's beautiful. So, do you mind sharing a bit with people your own story about, I mean, I know you're a Black man in America. There's, that's not always an easy journey, as we know. You're Muslim, correct? And your
Yes,
wife wears a hijab, right?
yes, yes.
So, I mean, there's a lot of like negative stereotypes out there. And can you talk about like sort of, within that community, and sharing that community with America in a positive light, that where it's not always portrayed in a positive way. What are your thoughts on that?
Good question. It's not easy. It's not easy being a black, man in America, and on top of that, being a Muslim. And I'll tell you, when I wear something nice, like I usually do, and when I wear t-shirt and my jeans, I got two different treatments. Okay. And it's scary. It's scary and it's it's very, very shocking, when you are a well-dressed man, um, and you go outside and next day you have a t-shirt and a jeans, people give you the different reactions. And these are things that I pay attention to. The restaurants that we go, places that we go, people give you different treatments. And on top of that, being a Muslim, you have disagreements with people here and there because we're human, we're not robots, over the course of the day, sometimes disagreements between you and somebody who's in line at Subway or Starbucks or whatever the case may be could have different small agreements. And the first thing that comes to mind is, go back to wherever you come from. And I'm like, and these are real case scenarios, things that happen. And I don't, that doesn't offend me. Racism in America doesn't offend me anymore. But I like to remind them, hey, we're all immigrants here. Unless you're native Indian, I mean, in Native American, we can all go back. So maybe you can stop by at Germany and hop off the plane, and I will go to Africa. But let's all leave, right? So for me, that's America is a land for immigrants. So for me, things like that happen, but I try to be as positive as I can. My wife has been really, attacked multiple times on roads where people threw things at her and made fun of her hijab and stuff like that. Even though Minnesota has a large population of Muslim communities, large population of colored people, minority people, but sometimes you'd be surprised, when you go outside of the metro, outside of the city a little bit, the reactions that you get. And seriously, man, it's I can keep going and going and going and going. And I'm like, it's just I just hope for a better day. That's all I can do. But yeah.
What do you kind of tell people in your book, and what do you share on the stage, in terms of your messaging? because I know that one of your primary target audiences is recent immigrants who are coming from your area. So you came from Somalia, correct?
Yes,
So
yes.
coming from, the Muslim regions of Africa, arriving, there's a big Somali community right there. So people who are just arriving are kind of like 20 years behind you or whatever in the journey. What is the story that you share with them? What is the messaging that you share with them around this?
Don't take anything personal. Don't take anything personal. If you say that you're going to reply to every negative comment, you're just wasting time. You know, prove people that you belong here. Simple. So for me, um, when somebody show me stuff like that, or really give me negative comments like that, yeah, you can throw a little jab back here and there, but don't let it affect you. Do not let it affect you. I know everybody responds, criticism or or anything offensive in a different way, but I will highly encourage people to not take anything personal, rather use that as a fuel. When somebody tell you or they show you an action that speaks you don't belong on this stage, or you're not capable of doing something like that, use that as a fuel. Work harder. Show people that you belong, you know the same stage as them. So that's the message that I've been telling people. Don't complain, stop being a whiner. Don't say, oh, everybody's this, I'm not liked. Stop looking for love. You know, just do your thing and prove yourself. That's all I can tell you.
Love that message. And can you tell us, just like, you have been such a success. I mean, really, as I said, you are a living story of the American dream, having arrived here. What do you think are the keys to your success? Why have you been so successful in starting a business, writing a book, speaking?
Yeah, definitely. The motivation part has a lot to do with it, right? So for me, uh, I have three beautiful daughters, right? So for me, um, my motto is I want to provide everything that I never had to my daughters. I want to put my daughters the best schools in the nation. I want to put my daughters the best possible successful scenarios that they can be, right? So that's a huge motivation. That's what I do every day. Second, like I said, my wife Miriam she's an educator. She's a public sector educator. She has been a teacher for 10 years. And she has been a great motivation for me, always motivating me, always uplifting me. Even if I'm doing terrible on something, she says, "You're doing great." And I'm like, man, you're such a great, not only great, wife, but you're a great person. You're always like motivating me. You're always telling me that I got this, So she has you think I have a pure heart, you should meet her. She's an amazing woman, and she really has a lot to do with where I'm at today for sure, but for me, um, I'm an energetic guy, I'm already looking for the next project as soon as I'm done with the coffee and the book project, right? I'm like, what can I get into get into, because I know I won't be this young, even though I'm not young. I won't be this young anymore. I won't have this energy anymore. There will be a days that I will be, really old and not able to. So I'm trying to, take advantage of the opportunity, the physical opportunity, all sort of other opportunities that are out there is what I'm trying to take advantage of. But for me, the motivation comes from watching people that are successful. Like when I watch Tom Brady, 41 years old, is still being at it. One of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of NFL. Watching all of these great people that are my muses. So when I watch stuff like that, I instantly get motivated, and I'm like, hey, I want to make a name for myself as well.
Love that. Amazing. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to wrap up here with some rapid fire questions. That
Mhm.
doesn't mean you have to answer quickly, but we'll try and keep it a little shorter in terms of the responses. The number one is, tell me in one sentence, if possible. It can be a motto or a mantra, something that you learned from your story.
For my story, be intentional. Be intentional. Be Yeah, be authentic. Yeah, be intentional. I will use that for sure. That has
What does be intentional mean, really briefly? What does that mean to you?
mean to me that show people that you mean what are you practicing, what are you sharing, the story that you're sharing, be an example of it, you know and when you want to tell people I want you to do great things or I want to motivate you, you that starts within. Show people that what you are saying is what you are doing first.
Love that. Amazing. Tell me something that's bringing you joy in your life right now.
Family, my family, the seeing smiles of my girls,
Yeah.
and my wife and everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me something that's scaring you right now.
The presidential race.
Yeah, we can leave it at that because
I don't know.
that is that
I
is
wanna
scary. I mean,
be
that's scary. That's scary to the whole world. The whole world is watching that, feeling
yes,
scared.
yes, yes. Everything's getting personal, so
Oh my
yeah, a little
God.
scary.
It's scary. It's scary. Tell me something that is giving you hope right now.
Hope. Great question, actually. Great something that's giving me hope. Seeing, for example, the city of Minneapolis, a lot of immigrants, a lot of people that are doing great things, a lot of people that are really heading to the right direction. And, for example, when people come up to me and say, hey, can you help me with certain situation in terms of either starting a business, they want to go to school or a course. The hope that I'm envisioning is people are trying to change for the better. People are trying to do great things for themselves. So the more you see people heading to the right direction, the better hope that I see. So
That is wonderfully stated too, and I love that. It is wonderful to see that. Um, Tell me your advice for other people who are looking for the story cure in their lives.
that is a great question, and I want to answer this in a very good way, a very mindful way. Um, Something I learned in my journey is nobody likes and listens to people that complain. There is an opportunity every single second that we live in. This country has so much opportunity to the point where you can make anything happen that you put your mind into it. Don't blame anybody on your failures. If you fail, do not blame anybody except yourself. You don't have to blame your mom. You don't have to blame your dad. If your parents put you in a place where you're old enough and you have the physical ability to be successful, do it. Stop whining and get the job done. That is something that I always like to tell people because I do know people that I don't associate with them any longer because they don't want to improve their lifestyle from 5 years ago. I don't want to be around you. I don't want to be friends with you if you're not taking your life to the next level next year. Every year as a human being, we have to grow personally, professionally, family wise. But if you're stuck at the where you were last year, I don't want you to take me back. So stop blaming anybody on your failures and work on yourself and get the job done.
I love that. I just got goosebumps, and you're so right. Plus, it's just not fun to hang out around people who complain and whine all the time.
Right? Right?
They're just not fun. Like there's no, it's like what does that accomplish? So I love that. It's fantastic advice. What a great motivational message you have. So tell us where we can find you in all the ways. I know you have a fantastic. You guys should all follow Saad on Instagram. Like I love your Instagram account.
Thank
It's
you so
so
much.
great.
Thank you. So my Instagram is saad.guled, SACAD.GULED. I have my website coming, saadguled.com, where my book will be, you'll have a link to buy my book on my website. I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm a huge social media guy. And yeah, you can find me. Those are my handles on my socials. I have my podcast coming in the next 2 months. It's called the Sahad Guled Show. I'm sure you will be, even if I have to, you are on my guest list, and I know you're all the way in Hawaii, but we can do it virtually, you know, ask you a couple questions, you know, share your positive message to people and all of that good stuff. So definitely, you know, look out for that. It's called the Sacad Guled Show, you know, so it's gonna be nice. Hopefully, you
That
know.
is going to be great. I can't wait for that. It's going to be
Yeah.
awesome. I love it. Well, and you know, your vehicle for giving more exposure to also the people in your community who are doing great things and making things happen. I think it'll be really inspirational for people to learn more. As I
Absolutely.
said, positive stories, positive and inspirational stories. That's fantastic. Well,
Appreciate it.
thank you so much, Shad, for being here with us,
Absolutely.
for doing
So
your incredible work in the world.
no, I'm so honored. I'm so delighted, you know, for your guidance and for your, you know, positive energy as well. Even though you're across the ocean, but you know, the energy is it's contagious, man. You know,
Well,
so
I feel the same way about yours. So that's part of why I follow Sad's Instagram. Trust me, there are days when you're motivating me when I'm looking at that and being like, God, she's right. You're right. I gotta get back to it. So thank
thank
you
you.
so much. I'm gonna
Of course.
stop.